Right, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's debate. My name is Lucina and I'm the chairperson, and Smithy is the timekeeper. The adjudicators are Mr. Howie, Miss Connon and Mr. Wood. The topic of this debate is that self-serve in supermarkets is a good idea. The affirmative side, seated to my right, is from St Mary's College, and the negative team, seated to my left, is from Linden Park Primary School. The speaking time for this debate is 3 minutes, with a double bell at the end of your speaking time. A warning bell will ring once at 2 minutes, and a continuous bell will ring 30 seconds after the final bell. So could I please ask that any mobile phones and other electronic devices be switched off? Obviously someone's asked to film their child, so that's been already organised. I now declare this debate open. I call upon the first affirmative speaker, Maddie.
Good evening, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for tonight's debate is that self-serve in supermarkets is a good idea. We, the affirmative team, believe this statement to be true. We define the topic as self-serve to be the system that requires customers to scan barcodes and pay for their items on their own. Supermarkets are large stores, food and other household produce. As the first speaker, I will prove that self-serve at supermarkets is a good idea by discussing the efficiency and how self-serve at checkouts are helping cut the cost of everyday groceries. Our second speaker, Georgia, will further prove that self-serve is a good idea by discussing the risk of bacteria and how you can use multiple cards on a self-serve checkout. Our third speaker, Anna, will rebut and sum up our team's case to leave absolutely no doubt in your minds, ladies and gentlemen, that self-serve at supermarkets is a good idea. Now to my first point. By not having the option for self-serve at supermarkets are having to have more workers at the cash register so they can try to make sure everyone is served and no one is waiting in line forever and ever, meaning that we will have less workers working on restocking shelves, leading to unhappy shoppers because they are unable to buy what they need. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, the self-serve checkouts were put in place to be more efficient for the general public. Say, for example, you were rushing out the door to get to an event and forgot your water bottle. You can easily stop at a supermarket and grab your bottle, walk through the self-serve checkout, and you are out of there in no time at all. There is no reason to have to wait in a long line and wait for someone else to finish scanning your items. Using a self-serve checker is an excellent way when you have a minimal items with such of being to buy your groceries quickly. Why would we take away such an efficient setup that has been put in place for the sake of the public? Now to my second point. As many of you know, the cost of groceries is going up with the cost of living. You all are going to be wanting to save money and not having to cut back even more. But here's the thing, the Guardian states that self-serve checkouts were created to cut the cost of groceries. I know what all of you are thinking. How? The reason behind this is that employers don't have to pay as many employees as having to pay a server for each checkout. That means less people to pay and more prices on groceries cut, which is good because of inflation. Therefore, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't this further prove that self-serve in a supermarket is a good idea?
I now call upon the first negative speaker, Dinithi.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this debate is that self-serve at supermarkets is better. We, the negative team, know that this statement is undeniably false. Today, as the first speaker, I will be talking about how self-serve at supermarkets creates unemployment and is forcing you to do more work. Our second speaker will be talking about how self-serve supermarkets are easily prone to theft and how it promotes unhealthy eating. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team's case. The first speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that self-serve at supermarkets are efficient. This is wrong because if more lanes were opened in regular checkouts, they would be the same amount of speed as well. She also said that self-serve supermarkets are less pricey. This is wrong because even though I agree that it is less pricey, however, it also creates unemployment. Do we really want that? Today, I will be discussing 2 points. My first point is that self-service at supermarkets creates unemployment. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics declare that 55% of jobs were lost between 1990 and 2017 due to self-checkout technologies. Let me ask you a question. Who work at checkouts? As per the Australian Labour Marketing Insights, the majority of checkout staff are aged 15 to 19. These are the students who work part-time to support themselves. As per the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the current unemployment rate is 3.5%, which affects 1.4 million families. Supermarkets are responsible for a good proportion of this unemployment rate. With self-checkouts, the supermarkets are rapidly reducing staff, resulting far less job opportunities. My second point is that self-service checkouts are forcing you to work. Please place your items in the bag. Please wait for assistance. Does this sound familiar? The frustrating minutes waiting for an assistant to come and put all the glitches back in order, only to realize that you still have to unload, scan every item, and pack your bags again. It is at that moment you realize the supermarket is making you work for free. No wonder why supermarkets get so much profit. Does anyone care about customer satisfaction? So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, the self-service at supermarkets is absolutely treacherous, as it creates unemployment and forces you to work. Sure, technology is amazing and all, but here's the deal. You notice there's a new self-service machine inside your local supermarket, and then the next minute, you are fired from your part-time job, which you rely on heavily. Think about it. Do we really want this? Thank you.
I now call upon the second affirmative speaker, Georgia.
Good evening, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for tonight's debate is that self-serve in supermarkets is a good idea. We, the affirmative team, firmly believe that this statement is true. I would like to begin by pointing out some flaws in the opposition team's argument. This first speaker from the negative team has tried to tell you that there will be no employment at supermarkets because of self-serve checkouts, although there will still be workers stacking shelves and loading up bags for online shops and click and collect and deliveries, meaning that there will still be plenty of jobs for those employed at supermarkets. Our first speaker has already explained the efficiency of self-serve checkouts and how they bring down the price of your groceries. Tonight I will prove that self-serve in supermarkets is a good idea by discussing the risk of bacteria through face-to-face checkouts and how you are able to use multiple cards at self-serve checkouts but are unable to do this at face-to-face checkouts. Now to my first point. By using face-to-face checkouts, you are at higher risk of spreading bacteria. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, people have become more cautious about the risk of spreading bacteria and sickness. When using a self-serve checkout, you don't have to be face-to-face with another person, especially seeing that now people can come to work while they are sick with COVID-19. You can never know if the person who is touching your groceries is sick or not. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want a possibly sick person touching all of the food you and your family will be eating? Personally, I wouldn't like to take the risk. This is why self-serve checkouts is clearly a better idea. By using self-serve checkout, you are at lesser chance of catching viruses from other people, particularly cashiers. So, ladies and gentlemen, clearly, unless you are wanting to get sick, we should be using self-serve checkouts. Moving on to my second point. Most of you would know that mixed payment is a great way of way to get rid of gift cards. But here's the thing: you can pay with multiple cards. Which is amazing. If you need to use different cards, say if you have a $25 voucher and your shop was $50, you could use a gift card and your debit card. With face-to-face checkout, you can't do this because there's only one expected card. According to Moneyline, shop assistants do not allow you to do this, which can be a real pain when you have a gift card that is soon to expire and you cannot use it. So, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, self-serve in supermarkets is a good idea, and we must implicate this option at all the supermarkets we can.
I now call upon the second negative speaker, Mahad.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this debate is that self-serve at supermarkets is a good idea. We, the negative team, know that this statement is false. The second affirmative speaker has tried to say that there's a risk of bacteria. This is wrong. This is wrong without a doubt, because if my opposing team thinks that it's efficient, therefore lots of people must use it, and people carry germs, so it must also have lots of bacteria. She's also said that you can use multiple cards. This is wrong due to the fact that gift cards can be transferred to money as well. Our first speaker has emphatically exclaimed that self-serve checkouts create unemployment and forces customers to do free labor. Now to my first point. My first point is that self-serve checkouts are prone to theft. A research article from the Journal of Criminology and Criminal Justice titled The Curious Case of Swipers mentioned that over a third of people who have used self-serve checkouts has confessed to pilfering from it. Expensive grapes are scanned as cheap potatoes, prime steaks are swiped as potatoes, and chocolate croissants as bread rolls. According to Australia and New Zealand Retail Crime Survey, surveying 9,000 stores, supermarkets with self-serve checkouts are 86% more likely to experience shoplifting than those without. Baffled by this? Let me explain the psychology behind this. Dan Ariely, a behavioral economist who studies stealing at self-serve supermarkets, said people would rather steal from machines as they might not feel like they're cheating even when they steal a bit. Now to my second point, which is self-serve at checkouts are contributing to unhealthy eating. A study called What You Buy When No One's Looking by Andres Olden reveals that stores with self-serve checkouts have a 10 to 15% increase in junk food. This upward trend is primarily associated with regular customers, hinting that the sense of privacy is influencing their actions. This can lead to choosing less nutritious choices without the oversight of a cashier. Furthermore, researchers from Deakin University Global Obese Center found out that specifically self-serve checkouts promote unhealthy food. These self-serve checkouts machines are promoting people to get junk food in the name of speed and convenience. In conclusion, self-serve checkouts encourage theft and poor eating choices. Self-serve checkouts are always being praised for being so convenient, but what about the fine print? We always forget how bad self-serve checkouts are, so why don't we remember now and stand against it? Thank you.
I call upon the third affirmative speaker, Anna.
Good evening, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for tonight's debate is that self-serves are a good idea in supermarkets. We, the Affirmative team, definitely believe this statement is true. The first speaker on the negative team has tried to tell you that there will be no employment in supermarkets. Because of the self-serve checkout, although there will still be workers stacking shelves and loading up bags for online shops. For click and collect and delivering, meaning that there are still plenty of jobs for those employment at supermarkets. The second speaker in the negative team has tried to tell you that there will be more theft. This is wrong because it will not stop theft or prevent it. As many of you may know, John Paul Drake's complaining on social media about stealing stuff. South Korea has entirely self-checkouts, and they have less theft than us. In fact, they have a bigger population than us. The second speaker has tried to tell you that the risk of bacteria is not an issue for both. This is not true because there's always a person cleaning. Now, I will move on to my team summary. The first speaker, Maddie, has told you that the amount of waiting we have in lines and how self-serves help to lessen the price at groceries. Our second speaker, Georgia, has talked about how risk of bacteria face-to-face and how you can use multi-cards at self-serve checkouts and not as face-to-face checkouts. Now to my conclusion. Therefore, self-serves at supermarkets is a good idea. Thank you.
I now call upon the third negative speaker, Kian.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is that self-serve supermarkets is a good idea. We, the negative team, unequivocally note that this statement is false. The first affirmative speaker has tried to persuade you that self-serve checkouts are efficient. This is wrong because if people mess up, it will take even longer. She has also said that it is cheaper. This is wrong because 4 of these machines cost 195,000 AUD, according to cardfellow.com, and they cost way more to maintain. The second speaker has also tried to tell you that there is a risk of bacteria. This is without a doubt incorrect, as a ton of people use these checkouts every day. She has also said that you can use multiple cards. This is remarkably incorrect, as you can transfer the money into cash, and they use the same bin pad. The third affirmative speaker has tried to tell you that South Korea is an entire self-serve nation and they have less robbery than us. This is indubitably incorrect, as we're different to South Korea and we have more robbers. She has also said that there are cleaners. This is incorrect by a large margin, because most assisted checkouts have windshields during COVID-19. Our first speaker has stated that these self-serve machines cause a colossal unemployment problem. According to hightechnectar.com, unemployment and automation/AI are cousins. This is because they are responsible for taking the jobs of thousands. From horse carts to cars, harvesters to hefty tractors, the list of evolution never ends. The world is also starting to experience the newest member of the list, self-serve machines. Our first speaker has also stated that these checkouts are forcing the consumers to do the work. At a self-serve checkout, you have to scan everything by yourself, take out all your stuff out of the trolley, have an annoying voice distracting you, saying stuff like unknown item in the bagging area and please wait for assistance, and scanning a barcode twice and doing this after a long day, a living nightmare. The foundation of economic education quotes, making the consumers do the work for themselves is cheaper than the employees doing it. Hence, shops are making us do work so they make more profits. Our second speaker stated that it is easy to steal from self-serve checkouts. The Home Office Commercial Victimization Survey found out that supermarkets without self-serve machines are much less likely, by 34%, to be attacked by shoplifting than shops with self-serve checkouts. The second speaker also stated that self-serve checkouts promote unhealthy eating. According to the National Institute of Health, 90% of the food items near self-serve machines are unhealthy and cheap foods, making them more tempting to buy for the cheap price. So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, conclusively, these self-serve checkouts are deceitful. All that they have brought to us is more work and despair. Do we really want to live like this? Thank you.
Yep. have a timesheet. Did you want that? It says I need to read this evening's chairman's notices, but I don't think I've got any. Talk amongst yourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just make a couple of observations. Firstly, I want to give applause and credit to all 6 speakers. It was an excellent debate. So let's give them particularly good because it was well researched. All of them delivered very, very well and articulately. All of them had a sense of confidence and had a rapport with the audience. They looked at the audience. And that's hard. That's hard in debating because you're surrounded by your peers and strangers and parents, and you think you're on the spotlight, which you are to some extent. But finals are great because it brings out the best. You've had a season of debating, and this is the best that you are performing. And I've been really impressed with tonight's debate. I was just saying to my colleagues, I think this is my 40th year of adjudication. I've been around a long time. I'm old. I love debates, and particularly the final season, because you see the best in what these students have become over the course of a number of weeks. So well done to everyone. In the end tonight, there was a difference in the way the argument was constructed, the way it was delivered in a sophisticated way, the way the rebuttal was again conducted in a very clear but detailed way. And there were some interesting assumptions on each side that firstly self-service keeps prices down. I'm not sure Woolworths would admit to that. and that it's more efficient. And there was an assumption that people who don't do the checkout must have something else to do. But no one picked up the notion that if you don't have checkout people, there might not be the same number of jobs. So that was one issue for the affirmative. For the negative, it was the assumption that self-service promotes unhealthy eating, and that it creates unemployment, and that it encourages theft. So there were some really clear and interesting arguments. So it's a pity that Coles and Woolworths weren't here tonight to listen to that. But in the end, it was a very close debate. It was a very close debate, so we don't give individual feedback, but I did, on behalf of the adjudicators, all of you did really, really well. You should be very proud of what you achieved tonight and through the season. But by margin of only a couple of points, it was very, very close. I gave the debate to, we gave the debate to the negative. So both teams can and should walk out of this debate feeling really, really proud that they've achieved something fantastic. In choosing, in finding a person who stood out for us, we cite this as a debater who showed excellent clarity, excellent delivery, and rapport and communication with the audience, and that is Mahat. Thank you. You can all go home to the supermarkets. We'll have a break before the next debate.
Let me do my bit, right. Thank you, adjudicating team. I call upon a member of the runner-up team, St Mary's College, to give a vote of thanks.
We'd like to thank the negative team for coming out to debate with us tonight. You guys were amazing. You definitely deserve the win. We'd like to thank all of you, parents, caregivers, friends, family, for coming out to watch us debate tonight. It means so much to see all of you here. Thank you to our coaches and teachers for coming out to support us tonight, and thank you to the adjudicators for making this debate happen.
I call upon a member of the winning team, Linden Park Primary School, to second that vote of thanks.
We would like to thank St. Mary's School for being part of this debate, and we've all learned so much from this experience. We would like to thank the adjudicators for judging this debate as well. We would like to thank our coordinator, Harry, for helping us, and all the other teams in our school. We could have never made this far to the quarterfinals without him, so we will forever be grateful. Last of all, a special thank you to all the parents who came to encourage us tonight.
So finally, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance, and I now declare this debate closed.
Thank you very much.